Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time, and indeed you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210 and our Twitter handle at Question Time 2 for my guest, Namasonde Mazbugo, Commission for Gender Equality Commissioner there, and from our Pretoria studios, Gugu Xaba, she's with the Save the Children South Africa. She's the program director there. Well, we've just had some news here off air that, you know, some woman poisoned the entire family, and what happens is we normally, and I mean I'm also part of those, we normally would assume that violence against women is perpetrated only by men.
Yes, Mpho. I also wondered. But let's look at the root cause, because maybe the woman poisoned everybody, and while she was going to poison herself, she was caught napping. Because it is unheard of that the woman poisons the whole family. But I think we will hear from her what was driving her to do this.
Okay, let's take Rosalie. Rosalie, you are in George in the Western Cape?
Yes. Hi, how are you doing?
We're well, thanks for the call.
I'd just like to say that I think the lady who poisoned her whole family, I think that was an act of desperation. You know, there's a saying that goes that a leopard never changes its spots. And it took me a long time to get out of my abusive situation. It wasn't only physical, but it was also mental.
And how did you eventually get out of that type of a relationship?
I ran away.
And did the perpetrator face any justice for having violated you?
No, I was too scared.
I see. Rosalie, thank you very much for the call. That is very common.
Yes, Mpho, it's common because, you know, economically we depend on our men, and society has said you don't get away from it. It is only now that people have decided to say, don't look away, walk away. And society will force you to say, you don't do that. I would cite an situation where women themselves would say, stay long, he will change. But the last caller said, a leopard never changes its spots. So men, you see them differently every time, and you think it's going to be better. And it never becomes better.
Until you are
dead. Maybe you're dead, or until you poison everybody in the house and think you are going to get the chance of just swallowing the last bits. And unfortunately, it didn't happen to this lady.
Now, Gugu, with children, it should be a more worse situation, because children do not even have the means to defend themselves.
Yeah. Please repeat that question. I didn't hear you.
Well, it's more of a comment to say now, you know, comparing, you know, adult women, for instance, with children who may not have the strength, you know, or the ability to stand up for themselves. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. That is why Save the Children South Africa is keen on ensuring that we educate people around the huge effects it has on children. As you say, they cannot even fight back for themselves. Now, it means we have a responsibility to ensure that the parents that are giving birth to children are ready to take care of them, because even neglect on its own is some form of abuse. Exploitation of that child, not giving the child the food that they deserve, is part of the abuse. And the consequences are far-reaching. That is why the costs are so much. So it's important that we have parents that are ready to give birth to children and take care of them. And because it's children, once again, it means as a society that is around taking care of those children, we need to provide that platform that provides the safety net for the child so that we can be able to bring up a child that is of good quality, they can communicate well, they can withstand whatever they are facing, they can be able to report on time, and in that way we can be able to deal with the perpetrators and maybe to provide remedial therapy to the children early enough.
Okay.
Because the one thing that's happening, as somebody reported, that they were afraid to report and yet they were an adult. How much more for a child? So it's important that even the people that are providing services to children are ready to listen and to respond appropriately and provide the child the safety that they need. In many instances, we hear people saying, I don't believe the child or I don't trust the child. And yet it wouldn't be necessary for a child to start a story about being abused.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. It just doesn't become necessary because the child will not just build up a story that is like that.
Okay,
and in many instances, a child that is taken
Gugu,
care of is.
Let me just
Okay.
ask you to pause there. Let's take Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're in Sebokeng. Welcome. Elizabeth? Oh, Elizabeth, can you hear us? Okay, Elizabeth is no longer there. Okay, well, Elizabeth, please do give us a call, 089 110. The number should be on your screen there, 4210 089 110 4210 there. That's our number, and we'll be taking those calls. Now, let's look at reasons why there are so many reports of women abuse and children abuse. Is it because people are becoming more open about their environments and what they're going through, or is it because there's just too much of them?
I would say it's on both. People are now brave to say, let me speak out. And then if you speak up, you are going to get protection, you're going to be taken out of the situation. And we know that everybody is now saying it is happening all over, but you need to tell the story yourself so that you can get help. And because society now is open, it's no longer ihlazo lokuthi ukhulumile noma uphumile kuleso situation. Right now we find women were afraid. Where will I go? Because there's poverty and you have a house, we are in a shelter. And even if we are with a stepfather, the girl child who doesn't belong to this man will tell the mother, as Gugu was saying. But the mother will say, please keep quiet. We don't have a place to stay. So now there are shelters for women who can be placed somewhere until that woman gets her own shelter, until that woman gets out of the situation and be economically empowered herself.
Okay, Gugu, where do people get hold of Save the Children?
Save the Children is in Hatfield. The main office is in Hatfield, Arcadia Street at 1067 Arcadia. The number is 011 430 772.
Okay. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you indeed for making time, and we really appreciate the good work that you're doing. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, you have yourself a wonderful time.
Thank you very much.
What is a national anthem and why do we need national anthems?
A national anthem becomes an instrument to foster social cohesion, identity, to create a sense of identity of a country.
It does happen that people feel that they cannot commit to what the